The shocking truth about Luffy's devil fruit. Luffy regains consciousness as the five elders reveal that for 800 years since the world government's founding, they've been trying to get a hold of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but somehow it keeps avoiding them, like it has a mind of its own. That's when they reveal the truth. The Gomu Gomu no Mi is actually a mythical Zoan devil fruit called the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. According to them, this devil fruit gives one the properties of rubber in combat, only limited by the user's imagination. And the user brings smiles to people far and wide, the embodiment of the warrior of liberation. Awakening it, however, is said to strengthen their rubbery body exponentially and grant them more freedom, causing them to declare the devil fruit to be the most ridiculously powerful thing in the world. The awakening of the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika grants Luffy's rubber body increased strength and freedom. One of the most notable features of the awakened form is granting cartoon-like effects not only to Luffy but also to their opponent. An example is being eye-popping effects. It allows him to do gear third-like body inflation without physically pumping air, which he first used against Kaido. He was able to increase his arm to an enormous size in order to grab Kaido's transformed body and drag him up out of the skull dome. With his enlarged limbs, Luffy could manhandle Kaido despite his enormous size, swinging him from side to side. Luffy's rubbery nature can be extended into the environment around him, as seen when Luffy lifted up a section of roof and used it to repel Kaido's borrow breath back at him. This chapter tied so many things together. Open plot points that spam at least since Skypiea with the campfire dance. An explanation for Luffy's greatest power of bringing people together and making allies. A hint of who Joy Boy was and of what happened during the Void Century. Hell, something that ties together the entire story since Orange Town with Luffy liberating the town from Morgan's oppression. One Piece revolves around the Straw Hats going from place to place and helping people, freeing them from bandits and tyrants. And Luffy, embodying the warrior of liberation, suddenly changes our perception of the entire story and in a good way in my opinion. And the best part is that it did all of that without really changing Luffy's powers or changing who he is. Gear 5 is pretty much exactly what everyone always thought Luffy's awakening should be. Complete control over his rubber body plus the environmental rubber changes. The only difference is that Oda has given a reason behind it. Luffy is still a rubber man, except now he has a lot more control over his powers, being able to change his body at will without having to blow air and without having to coat his body with haki, as well as being able of turning other things into rubber. Not only that, but it also explains his insane durability, which is a characteristic of Zoans, as well as his gears. Let's face it, Gear 4 has always looked weird, and even Yogoro mentioned that he looked like a god in that form. And he is still the Luffy we've always known. Someone who wants to be the freest person in the world. Except that now, we know Luffy's also inherited Nika's will, which goes well with the underlying theme of inherited will throughout the story. From Luffy's perspective, nothing will change. From other people's perspective, he has now become the biggest threat to the balance of power in the One Piece world. Luffy, Nika, and Joy Boy, the warriors of liberation. I'm honestly annoyed with the constant cliche complaints coming out of the community over the last few chapters. Everyone is talking about how Luffy is suddenly becoming the chosen one cliche because of the Joy Boy Nika reveal. When in reality, Luffy is just the latest incarnation of a never-ending class struggle in the universe. He isn't the chosen one, he's just a chosen one. A person who shares the same values as the ones that came before him in a history that won't end until everyone is free. Nika freed the fishmen from slavery. I'm sure that it's about to be revealed that Joy Boy was the next incarnation of Nika and tried to lift the next group out of their inherited caste. Maybe anyone who has the will of B has the ability to be the next Joy Boy. All it takes is the will to change the world. Perhaps when someone with that will attains the fruit, that person becomes Joy Boy. Luffy is the son of the revolutionary leader Monkey D. Dragon for two reasons. Him being the son of Gold D. Roger would have actually been fulfilling the chosen one cliché. And two, Dragon being his father as the leader of the revolutionary army is a metaphor for the overarching story. Luffy is going to become synonymous with the coming revolution. The central story of One Piece is and always has been the same story being told for all of human history, the haves and the have-nots. The struggle to find or create meaning in a world where you're faced every day with a tiny minority of people who were born into power and hold all of it, versus the vast majority of people who have none of it. Oda has been very clear from the start about these themes. The diversity of Luffy's crew, who is literally referred to as a family, the constant journey of oppression to liberation to those they encounter, and Luffy's constant emphasis that his goal of becoming the Pirate King literally means freedom being the most important ideal. The story of One Piece has been so heavy-handedly about class consciousness and solidarity applying to every single being who is currently or has ever felt marginalized in any way, and the systems of power that abuse and oppress those people. Oda has created a masterwork retelling of the human condition in one of the most beautifully written, original, creative, and not at all cliche mediums I've ever seen it in. Seeing the negative reactions from everyone the last few months really makes me wonder how many people actually understand what the theme of One Piece is, and always has been since the very beginning. What to expect in One Piece chapter 1045? Readers are very excited to see what happens next in One Piece chapter 1045. The last chapter shook the very foundations of this series. With the reveal that Luffy ate the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, he now has the ridiculous power of cartoon physics. Kaido will learn the hard way that Luffy truly is the second coming of Joy Boy himself. One Piece chapter 1045 has a lot to live up to. Nonetheless, readers are willingly going along for the ride. The Onigashima raid will likely have the most explosive climax in the series to date. Without a doubt, this is the most important fight in Luffy's entire life. Expectations are riding high with the next chapter. Luffy might be laughing non-stop, but for Kaido, it's serious business. Readers eagerly await to see the epic conclusion of their fight. Without further ado, here's what readers can expect from One Piece chapter 1045. One Piece chapter 1045 will likely pick up where it left off last week. Luffy has only shown readers a small glimpse of what he can do with his awakened devil fruit. So far, he was able to manipulate the ground like rubber, alter his physique to cartoonish proportions, and swing Kaido around with ease. Luffy's only limitation seems to be his imagination. It's currently unknown if there are potential drawbacks to his newfound abilities. This will likely be explained in the future, whether or not it's from One Piece chapter 1045. Readers will definitely want to see how this match plays out. Kaido will likely put up a great fight, but his eventual defeat is growing closer. This is Luffy's best chance of taking down the Beast Pirates once and for all. These past few chapters have been one big reveal after another. One Piece chapter 1045 will likely continue that recent trend. Unlike most characters, Kaido seems to have a basic understanding of Joy Boy. Readers will be interested in his response to Luffy's new fighting style. Perhaps it will remind him of Joy Boy, which could trigger his anticipated flashback. It will also be interesting to see how the world government responds. They wanted to avoid this scenario for over 800 years. Eiichiro Oda sometimes liked to put smaller moments in bigger chapters, which gives it a necessary breather. It wouldn't be surprising to see the Red Scabbards make their next move. Back in chapter 1041, Raiza told Jinbei that preparations were being made, although he didn't specify what he meant. Some of the retainers have also been missing in action, most notably Denjiro. At the very least, Oda may provide an update on their situation. What is known is that some of them are trying to evacuate the samurai from the flaming castle. Perhaps they have an escape plan in mind.